What's good, everyone? It's Weezy's back with another video. In this video, I'll be going over another top 10 series, but for fighting games. Isn't that exciting? So I will be going over my top 10 fighting game series that I own. So these are ones that I personally own, and shockingly enough, I actually do own 10 fighting game series. So coming in at number 10, I have My Hero One's Own Justice. So compared to the rest of this list, this one is actually complete dog shit. In its own right, it's actually a decent video game, but compared to the other series on this, it just was much better, even if you compare like standalone games that other series have had. But let's get into it. I prefer using a villain team. Stain, Toga, and Davi are my mains. And I'm just gonna do random for these guys. So a lot of the mechanics are kind of just weird. So I guess it might have something to do with the fact that I haven't put enough time into this game to actually have a positive opinion of it. But I've put enough time into... Oh look, Deku's running like normal. But I guess it could come up to I haven't put enough time into it. But like it's like it's trying to be J-Stars or Jump Force and isn't doing a very good job of it. Or maybe Dragon Ball FighterZ or Fighters, however you want to pronounce it. I think it's technically Fighters, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. You might notice I'm actually doing training mode, mostly because I'm not very good at the game. And I'm still losing. I'm still getting my ass whooped by the computer that is running these guys. But essentially, it just looks like it's trying to be like every other anime fighting game series, but didn't really do a good job of it. It covered a lot of its uniqueness as a series, as an anime series. But like with these quirks, it did really well. Stain is probably my favorite addition to this because Stain actually wasn't even in the anime for very long. I don't know about the manga. I haven't read the manga yet. I'm thinking about it. A lot of people think I should. But that being said, it's a good game in its own right. Well, a decent game in its own right so far, from what I have actually played. But the other 9 on this list are just a tidge better, in my opinion. On that note, we will be moving on. And then sitting at number 9, we've got the 7 Deadly Sins, Knights of Britannia. So this one's ranked this lowly because I feel the same way I do about my Heroes attempt at a fighting game. Especially since this one has Broken Sword, which I feel like they're going to do what FighterZ does, and just add multiple of the same character instead of adding like alternative costumes or anything like that. But let's get into it. Is there a random option? Well, that's another demerit. It doesn't look like there's a random option either. But just for the sake of it, I'll do Bon. Sure. That tells you how much I've played this one. I've probably played this one about as much as I've played My Heroes. And it's only because the graphics aren't bad, don't get me wrong. In its own right, it is a good game. But again, it feels like it just takes too many aspects from other fighting game ones. Like this one seems absolutely like it's very similar to oh, that was my problem. Hit and jump. But so it feels like it's just taking shit from other fighting games, from other anime fighting game, just like My Hero was, except this one's more 3D than My Hero. Basically like Jump Force. I get hella Jump Force vibes from this shit. But yeah, it feels about the same. My review of it is about the same. The only reason this one's ranked slightly higher than My Hero is actually not even due to the game. I like the anime for this one more than I like the anime for My Hero, and that's the only reason this one's ranked higher. And stop fucking throwing rocks at me, you stupid son of a bitch. I swear, that's like all you fucking do. Yeah, I feel like these guys just didn't really try all that hard, if I'm being honest. Also, another merit for this one is it is not just a fighting game, it is also an RPG game. So it's an action RPG mixed with a fighting game, which I found rather interesting. Yeah, I lost. But, that's honestly my opinion on this one. It's relatively the same as My Hero, just I like the anime for this more, and this one is also an action RPG instead of just a fighting game like My Hero is. But that'll do it for number 9. What's good, everyone? So coming in at number 7, I think. Yeah, 7. We've got, I know I'm gonna get some hate for this, but I've got Dragon Ball FighterZ. Honestly, it's a very unimpressive Dragon Ball fighting game. It feels like a lot of the characters are just overused. For example, like a bunch of these DLC characters are basically the same fucking character. And then we've got Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan God Goku, and then same with Vegeta. Like, it reuses characters like no one's business. Goku Black was a given though. I understand that part, but and then some of the DLC characters they reuse again. Which I think it's just repetitive and kind of annoying. I do like the villain they make for it. Android 21 was absolutely an amazing villain. So let's get into it. I believe it's been a while since I played. I believe I was using something like this. Sure. Oh, I actually like that look.
Select your fighter.
That's an awkward team.
Select stage. Islands.
So this one feels unoriginal with the characters. They basically recycle the movesets. For certain characters, as I pointed out, they have Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta, and then they have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta. And honestly, that feels like a waste. Just since I believe regular Goku is now a DLC character, which is basically a character that you pay for. And but in terms of actual anime fighting games, this one is definitely one of my favorites that I've played. Though for the most part, I'm comparing it to, like, I actually only own like 5 anime fighting games. See, and I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even remember how to play this game. Somehow it's still good. Okay, I misspoke. Oh, now you're just gonna spam that shit? So yeah, I think that's about all I have for this game. And we'll get into number 6. Coming in at number 6, we've got Blood Blue. Though mine is a little biased, I've only actually used. I've actually only played Blood Blue. What is this one called? Chrono Phantasm. Extend, I think. But on that note, number 13 is actually my favorite character.
New 13.
Sure.
Makoto Nanaya.
Sure. So, due to me only having one fighting game, I actually have to base the whole series off of this one fighting game that I've played. Actually, I have played another one. I think it was Cross Tag, if I remember correctly, that I played with a buddy of mine. But other than that, I've never played Blood Blue. The only reason I actually bought this one is because I watched the anime. But based on that, I actually do like this. and there are a lot of there are a lot of different options for the story mode. I really like that, and honestly, the story behind everything, the lore, really fascinates me. And I hate promoting other YouTubers, but honestly, I found out about FighterZ through
New 13 win. Rebel 2 action.
through Death Battle, because Ragnar went versus I forget who he went versus. Now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, so I actually first heard about FighterZ through Death Battle, where they did Ragnar versus someone from Guilty Gear, I forget his name. I think he's like the main character though. The worst part about this game though is it is actually very simplistic. Meaning you can get the hang of the controls fairly easy.
Select your
But other than that, I actually don't have any issues with this game. Most of the characters are very unique. Number 11 and number 13 are almost identical. They have slightly varied movesets. Other than that, they're very unique. And obviously Noelle has a similar moveset, though she doesn't, float around like the other two. But yeah, that'll do it for number 6. And we'll move on. Alright, and then coming in at number 5, we've got Street Fighter. Again, I haven't played too many Street Fighter games. I think I've played Street Fighter 2 and then Street Fighter 5, if I'm being honest. And Street Fighter 5 is actually the only one I own. But I've been playing a lot of the Street Fighter characters in Super Smash Bros. And that brings me to another point is some of you might be wondering by now, why have you not seen Super Smash Bros. On this tier list? Well, that would be because I actually did this for the fighting games I have on PlayStation. So this is my PlayStation fighting games tier list. But if you're wondering, Super Smash Bros. Would probably be ranked number 2. I probably would have just booted My Hero off. But everything else would have stayed the same. If I'm being honest, it's been so long since I played this that I don't even remember how to play for one. Nor do I remember who my favorite character was, so I think I'm just gonna go with someone. I'm gonna go with Balrog. And then I'll do random for. Alright, Balrog versus Laura. This is gonna be interesting because it's been a good while since I've played.
There's no escape.
So this one is ranked this high because I actually like the characters in it. It's got more diverse characters than a lot of the other ones that are previously on this list. And then obviously this is one of the ones I actually grew up on. So like there's only 3 fighting game series I actually grew up on. One being Super Smash Bros. Because it came out on the N64 for the original one, I believe, if I remember correctly. And they've been making them for basically all of their main game systems. The newest one being Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Which obviously Ken and Ryu are both in. But
Final round.
so this one's got unique characters. I think it could just be that I suck at this game, but the story mode is actually really difficult. And I think I'm stuck on where you have to fight M. Bison as Ryu, and I think I just sucked as Ryu. But the story mode's pretty difficult. Could just be that I really suck with Ryu, but whatever. And then they have unique characters, but I didn't rank them any higher because I actually like the next ones even more. The next ones are pretty good. But on that note, moving on to number 4. And then coming in at number 4, we've got Tekken. Like Street Fighter, I haven't played too many games for Tekken. Mostly just Tekken 7. But I don't have too many complaints with this one. They have a wide variety of unique characters. They even have a couple bears, which I thought was amazing. But in the spirit of it being Tekken 7, I'm going to play Devil Jin. And so it's going to be Devil Jin versus Heihachi. I don't have too many complaints about this one. Like I said, unique characters and all of that. The biggest problem I have is those rage arts and the rage drive fucking throw me off. I don't understand it. I just don't understand how to do it. I'll be honest. For those of you who may have noticed, yes, I am doing practice, because the only complaint I really have about this is that your versus mode doesn't allow you to select a CPU instead of a player 2, which I find very annoying. Or maybe it does, and I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. entirely possible. But so that's the only actual concern I really have. Other than the bonus stage, for the story mode, it's actually really difficult. You have to fight Kazuma, which is Jin's father, as Heihachi, which he was hard enough to fight, to fight Akuma as. I don't know how the fuck they wanted you to fight Kazuma in his devil form as Heihachi. So annoying. But honestly, those are my only two complaints. Character creation is pretty legit in this. And getting back into the swing of things is pretty easy, in my opinion. But I think that's about it for number 4. So let's move on. And then coming in at number 4, number 4, we've got Injustice. So the Injustice series actually only has 2 video games, but the short time it's been around, I've actually enjoyed the game series. I'm kind of disappointed with what characters they left out of this one for some of them, but I am overjoyed at some of the ones they threw in. Especially some of the DLC characters, like we've got Raiden, and Sub-Zero, as opposed to Scorpion from the original. But I've been impartial to use I've been using the Ninja Turtles a lot lately, and I haven't played recently, so I'm just gonna go on easy, because I feel like I've been slacking and I got worse, if I'm being honest.
Begin.
So that's probably my favorite thing about these ones. Circle doesn't really do anything except do like an assist thing. Oh yeah. Trying to remember how to do theirs is very weird. So with theirs, you actually summon the different Ninja Turtles for their and obviously it's determined by which mask you have on. You can unlock different masks for each of them. But yeah, I'd have to say the only complaint I have is really the whole level system. I think it's weird to have a fighting game with a level system. Even though Mortal Kombat started doing that same thing. And the story is kind of weird. I don't like the whole story of Injustice. It's just weird in my opinion. And the fact that they have Joker in this one, whereas he's technically dead in the Injustice universe. But other than that, I don't have any complaints about it. Great game, franchise. And that'll be it for this one, and let's move on. And then sitting at number 3, we've got the Jump series, talking about J-Stars and Jump Force. I combined them as its own little series because honestly, it seems like it should be. But it doesn't really continue the story for Jump Force. So the only complaint I had with this one when it originally came out is the lack of some of my favorite characters, like Hiei. Hiei was like my favorite character other than Ichigo in J-Stars, and then in this one they said fuck Hiei, but then he came back as a DLC, so I'm happy again. It's not really a complaint, I just don't know why they keep doing it, is all of the My Hero people. Like, originally they had Deku, which was inevitable. They're going to throw in one of the students of UA, but then they threw in All Might as a DLC, and then Bakugo, and then Todoroki. So I don't know why. And then Naruto characters and Bleach characters are in abundance, as well as Dragon Ball characters. Because they each have at least one DLC character. Bleach has 2. Oh, also One Piece. One Piece has at least 1 as well. In fact, most of the DLCs have been made up of these few anime, whereas they could have added in some actual meaningful ones. But on that note, let's get into it. So I'm actually partial to use... I started using Hitsugaya, Captain Hitsugaya, and Hiei when they came out with them for DLC characters, because Hitsugaya is actually one of my favorite Bleach characters of all time. So I kind of wanted to get good with him, and then I'm impartial to use Ichigo. And then I'll just do random for them. And for those who don't know, the character I created is supposed to be Saitama. It's wearing All Might's outfit, which I was hoping I could get a mostly yellow one instead of the all blue one, but because he's a DLC character, that's not happening. Another thing that irritates me is they keep doing Toguro, younger Toguro. But I would prefer if they did like Yomi or Makuro or Sensui, actually. Those 3 I would prefer to do as villains. Mostly because they were stronger and I think their moveset is flashier. Somehow the anime made Toguro look really flashy, but in terms of this game, he is one of the least flashy characters ever. So combat is kind of weird. Oh my god. Fuck you too, Toguro. So certain characters have a transformation, like Hitsugaya is one of them. Obviously Ichigo is. Most of the Dragon Ball characters can. Naruto can. trying to think of who else can transform. Oh, the Saint Seiya characters. There's 2 of them. There's Saint Dragon Shiryu, I think his name is, and then obviously Saint Seiya. So Saint Shiryu and Saint Seiya. Oh, it looks like Naruto's transforming right now. Oh, and then you've got, I believe, Yusuke also transforms. Where the hell are you going? So yeah, a few characters transform. In fact, some of the Dragon Ball characters actually have 2 transformations, such as Goku, Vegeta, and Golden Frieza. Well, Frieza. Golden Frieza is his 2nd transformation. Full Power Frieza is his 1st. So the transformations are cool. I'm glad they didn't do what most other anime fighting games do and just throw in multiple characters for each goddamn transformation. But other than the combat being weird, the only other really problem I have with it is certain characters being in it, such as the Yu-Gi-Oh characters, Yami Yugi, and then the DLC character of Seto Kaiba. I don't approve of them being in here because it's a fighting game and they are not fighting characters, even though they have like some mystical power from ancient Egypt. But that's about it for this one. So let's move on. And then sitting at number 2, we've got Soulcalibur. So Soulcalibur, I've absolutely enjoyed for a couple years now. I started playing while Soulcalibur 5 was out. It was fairly new. And then I got 6 just because I absolutely loved 5. And this one did not disappoint. It didn't add to the story. It was just kind of like a reboot. With that being said, though, let's get into some actual combat.
Inferno.
You know what? Just because I'm feeling adventurous, I'm gonna do Inferno. This one's ranked higher than Jump, honestly, because the characters are fairly unique.
A single slash
they do some shadow characters where it's basically like a shadow of another character, like Natsu from Soulcal 5 is basically a shadow of Taki from previous Soulcals, and in this one, Taki makes his return. But it's ranked higher than Jump because it does have a unique stage. Basically, it's basically a very unique fighting game series. Originally called Soul Edge, I believe, was the initial release.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
But and then they have their incredible character creation. Both games have incredible character creation, but most of my characters that I find are dear to me have been made through Soulcal. I've made all sorts of things from weird Necomata creatures to giant cat fat men. Yeah, that was a thing, using Voldo's fighting style. Ugh. But honestly, not too many bad things to say about Soulcal other than, you know, they need more ranged characters, if I'm being honest. But on that note, I think it's time to move on. And then sitting at number 1, we've got Mortal Kombat, which has basically had the fighting game franchise by the balls since it first debuted as one of the bloodiest fighting games out there. I've played almost every Mortal Kombat. I started playing Mortal Kombat with Mortal Kombat 4 for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. And I've come back for PlayStation 2 with Armageddon, Deception. I've even played a little bit of Shaolin Monks. And then I've come back with playing Mortal Kombat 2011 for PlayStation 3. And then Mortal Kombat X and 11 for PlayStation 4. So I've played a lot of Mortal Kombat in my time. And my go-to character changes almost every time. For the most part, the previous Mortal Kombat ones, the ones that had it available, my favorite character was Goro as a default. Goro is absolutely one of my favorites. Though, when X came around, before I had the DLC, obviously I didn't have Goro, so I started using a lot of Ferritor. Ferritor is a powerhouse. He's got a little bit of range. But for whatever reason, for this game, I actually went away from going with the powerhouses, and my favorite is Collector, who is an insane badass, really. But for the sake of this, I think I'll actually go with... I'll go with Spawn. Now I'll go with the Batman Who Laughs Spawn, which is one of the DLC ones. How they introduce some of the DC characters with this. Obviously we have Joker as well, but certain characters in this get outfits that look like DC characters. And then I'm gonna do Hidden Cursor, and then I'm gonna do Random Select.
Deadpool.
And it's been a while, so I'm just gonna do easy because I'm not entirely confident at all, because it's been a fat minute since I've played. The only problem I have with Mortal Kombat is I like what they did with Armageddon, having that huge ass roster. I know it's a little hard to do that nowadays, and honestly it would be a big ass roster, because you'd include like basically all the DLC characters and all of the other characters from all of the other games.
Round 2, fight.
But it'd be a huge roster. That, honestly, Armageddon is actually one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games because of the huge roster. And I like the story mode. Oh, why do you keep doing that? I don't know what was up with it. It wouldn't let me do my easy ones. Maybe I don't have any easy fatalities. I should have just tried doing a regular fatality. But on that note, Mortal Kombat is honestly one of my favorite gaming franchises in general. When people say name like your top 5 games, I always go with Mortal Kombat and Dark Souls sitting at spots 1 and 2. I don't really know which one takes which spot, but I definitely always go with those two as my go-to 1 and 2 spots. If I want story explanation, obviously I'll choose Mortal Kombat over Dark Souls, because they don't explain shit when it comes to Dark Souls. They're like, yeah, just go fight all these people. But yeah, that's about it for me. Please remember, if you like this content, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be sure to make more that are just like this. Alright, see ya.